All right, so welcome. All right, we decided to name this thing chess, not checkers, for multiple reasons, as you can imagine. The pieces on the board, not this board specifically, are black and white, and it's just a strategic game that two brothers love to play. And Trey and I decided to start this podcast about 2 weeks ago. We said we was gonna wait it out, get everything together and get ready. But I think I might have mentioned how this kind of happened. With everything going on in the world, we was like, we can't wait no more. We just gotta go ahead and figure it out as we go. Right. And it's been a fun ride, just hanging out with my boy again. Yeah. And I'm excited about this. We're gonna keep it rolling.
I think I've seen you more in the past 2 weeks than I have probably in the previous year.
Right.
Too many old friends. You don't take the time to reach out. You lose touch.
Yeah.
The less you speak, the easier it becomes to, distance yourself.
But we managed to maintain communication, here and there. So, I got other friends that sometimes it's just understood, you ain't got to talk all the time, but when something crosses your mind, just shoot a text and say, what's up? Something remind me of you, or, question we got to ask us, talk some noise or laugh about something. Right. And here we go, just doing it for real now.
Well,
in front of everybody else.
Yeah, all right, we're up to 50, so we can probably get going. Last week, we just talked about what was going on for the most part, current stuff, but kind of touched on some education stuff. But
right.
The main thing I guess is going on right now is just the race relations.
Yeah, the race discussion. The race relations discussion
of racism in America. Even really worldwide. It's kind of it's crazy how that one incident has gone worldwide. I'm a soccer guy, so I got to point out that even from everything that's been happening with George Floyd, soccer leagues in Germany, Italy, England, not yet to be England, but they're kneeling before games, wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts, and that's kind of powerful that it's touched all across the world like that. Especially a place like Germany.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of racism internationally, like in soccer, but in some of those countries, there's no black people. There's less black people in those countries, a lot of European countries, but there's also parts of America with no black people.
Right.
So they don't have that influence or that upbringing around them. And I think we wanted to. Last week we shared a story about our interaction with some KKK members when we was in college, and something else happened when we were. That happened our freshman year.
Right.
This incident happened our last year. We were both there. 06, but I'll let Malcolm take it away. The North Dakota, the trip to Fargo, North Dakota. It's pretty interesting.
Right. So two kids from the South. Me being from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Trey being from Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, but
Flowood.
Jackson, yeah, we'll say Flowood.
Close enough, bro. I ain't,
That's good.
I really had something else I was just about to say, but anyway, we was in North Dakota. We went to North Dakota State to play them in football, right? And that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to mention to y'all, if y'all have questions at the end, we gonna do a little Q&A. But it's already got in the comments, so just wanted to follow up. All right, on the same page as usual. All right, we go to North Dakota for this football game, right? They're a pretty good team. We having a pretty good year. This is our junior year. No, this is our senior year. Red shirt senior.
Your red shirt senior year,
right? Which I wasn't playing. I was a student assistant coach, and
I was a graduate assistant.
And you was a grad assistant, right? All right. So
we made the flight from Greenville, Mississippi, on that little plane, and we went to Fargo, North Dakota. What was this, about October?
November, I think.
November.
We
So
played them pretty late in the season. It was snow on the ground.
if y'all don't know how cold it is in Fargo, North Dakota, in late November, it's the coldest place I've ever been, and they're cold. They're 30 degrees there. It's not like our 30 degrees here.
No, not at all.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's way more crispy. But yeah. So I actually filmed that game too. But anyway, the night before, the day we got there, the day we arrived at our hotel, and lo and behold, you know, we getting off the bus. Everybody got our little Mississippi Valley State green suits on. You know, some know it as the booger suit.
It's ugly, man. Really warm.
But it was fresh for the time. You know, we was comfortable. Most of us had some coats on to go on top of it. But anyway, a group of people, the hotel that we booked had the Spaceballs convention.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Which I didn't even really know about Spaceballs. I don't think I'd ever watched it. I would say the majority white people, that's probably the majority white people
Most
movie.
definitely.
I mean, we're not stereotyping here. We're
No,
just saying
just
what
saying.
it is. We're just talking.
Right.
Like, I
It's what
doubt
it
a
is.
lot of black people have seen that. Were there any black people in the movie?
I don't remember,
I don't know.
but
I just know Rick
I had
Moranis.
actually seen the movie.
I just know Rick Moranis.
I didn't really understand what it was, but I remember like watching it with my brother Marlon.
Right.
But we did watch Star Wars in my house, so I'm a big Star Wars fan. So I knew it as the parody for Star Wars.
Okay.
With Rick Moranis wearing
Right.
a big crazy Darth Vader suit. So anyway, they got all these super nerds, you know, at this nerd convention going on at the at the hotel.
Right.
We got a football game. So since we not playing, we just chilling. All the players go to their room. We just hanging out. So this guy, so we end up sitting down and playing a game of chess.
Yeah, it was like,
It was
weird.
like a little courtyard that was inside. It had a
the
roof.
hotel
It was covered.
And for some reason, like they had legal gambling inside the hotel.
Yeah,
So,
we played a little blackjack with
A lot of our coaches went to gamble. Most everybody went to rooms, but I was the only white guy on the team at that point.
I think so.
You had Joseph Blanco. No, he wasn't there.
Blanco wasn't there.
You had Galarski from Hawaii, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, it was But
we kicked the game winner against A&M
Right.
too. Ooh, that was big.
But it was just me and you that for some reason went in to the comp. Like we're like, hey,
nobody else was there. Yeah,
Right, everyone else
went
left.
to their room.
But me and you decided we were gonna go see. If
Yeah. So getting back to the story, we sit down, we just talking, just playing chess. Nothing, no big deal, right? So all of a sudden, I see one of these Spaceballs dudes get down on a knee, pull out a little disposable camera from back in the day, and take a picture of us. And then I wasn't looking at him when he did it. I'm playing chess, so I'm looking at you. So I see him out the corner of my eye, and then I see the flash, and then I'm like, man, what? Okay, I'm not gonna repeat what I said for real.
Right.
But I'm like, what are you doing? This dude just like automatically, I'm so sorry. Like he thought that I was about to just bum rush him or something, but I was just like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm so sorry. So I'm like, you know what's going on? He like, all right, I just want to be honest. I saw that you guys were from Mississippi, and I didn't think that a black person and a white person who were from there would be like hanging out together.
Right.
So I just had to take a picture of it and capture the moment.
Yeah.
Without our permission, though.
It was still funny because other than, I guess, maybe athletes they had seen at a local college,
Maybe.
North Dakota State.
Right. None of which were from Mississippi.
Right. They couldn't get over the fact that like a black guy from Louisiana and a white guy from Mississippi, talked. We started messing with them. We were like, yeah, we're sharing a bed tonight too, in the hotel room because we're roommates. They're like, you're sleeping in the same room? We were like, yeah. And, we stay in dorms together and all that. And they were just really blown away, right? Just the fact that it was like he had never had a conversation with a black man before.
It really, you could really tell.
And they, like they started trying to buy us alcohol and give us, you know,
Yeah.
and we were like, you know, we have a game tomorrow.
Was like, they had some, the beer was like extra exotic, something I had never heard of.
Some local. Yeah.
So you might not remember, but I did drink one though.
Okay.
I did. I'm gonna just be honest about it. Just one. But it was like, that was, to see him like afraid of me right after he did it. Like he knew he was wrong for it. He knew he wasn't supposed to do it, but he did it anyway. And then was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's too late, brother. Damage is done. And I started to, like, my first mind was just go take the camera and really just, you know, but I just was like, whatever, I ain't even tripping. It's really not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? If he put pictures of me all over the internet and like, make my name look bad, I could take him to court for that. You know, I ain't finna beat the man up. Now I'm going to jail, you know what I'm saying? And looking crazy.
But he was just really genuinely nice, though. He was a nice guy.
Really was.
He was just like intrigued.
He really was.
He was really intrigued by the whole thing. And just
he
wanted
was,
to know.
Like, you know, I just want to know what made him think that he could just do that. Like, people do it now, though, all the time with phones. You know what I'm saying? That's what's crazy. Like,
get into the argument of you can't record
me. Yeah, without permission.
It's a free
Without
country.
permission. So yeah, that's crazy.
But his reason for doing it was that it was just like wherever he's brought up or he's from there, he had this perception back in 07 that black people and white people didn't, you know, like there was still segregation or something.
Right.
Happening. You know what I mean? And you know, I've had classmates that have come from, you know, Connecticut when I was in school that thought that all people from the South, you know, ate hay and walked around barefoot and whatnot. But yeah, the fact that it was so just like a surreal moment for him.
Yes, yes.
And we were kind of having fun with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We were kind of like playing it, but we didn't realize, I guess, the you know, his whole viewing on it. But it kind of impacts a lot of stuff that is going on today, right? We talked about that. We kind of had some conversation before we get on about, you know, there's a large majority of the population, you know, whether it's white population, black population, that never interacts or never has to grow up around someone of the opposite race.
Right. And I think you get, it's so many different ways to look at it. But for me personally, I had like a very diverse upbringing. So, you know, I got to be able to like see different cultures and interact with different people and people from different backgrounds from an early age. And I know I benefited from it. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to hopefully help other people see me as a man, and then see, or just as a person, and seeing other black people as a person. Like, I always kind of like felt it was important for me to carry myself a certain way to help other black people, you know, to build the image. Like, not perpetuate stereotypes and not get caught up in anything, like, you know, don't fall for the okie doke, basically, and just get caught up in something that I know my character is not really represented by. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I kind of wanted to be a person that other people could look up to, and that other people could see and gain respect for me and gain respect for other people who look like me. You know,
yeah, I mean,
it's a daunting task, to be honest.
Well, you never know that the guy from North Dakota, he could have, maybe that was a moment that changed his perspective on things. You know what I mean? You just never know. And so, you know, in regards to what's going on, like, your kids aren't old enough.
No,
but
they don't have a clue.
Like, what are,
at this point,
you know, but if they were of age, like, you know, we talked about our upbringings, right? Like, it starts in the household, you know, mom, dad, you know, instilling the right things. But what would you tell your kids, you know, because we talked about there's two sides to the you know, the coin. You could tell your kids, because of this, hate all white people.
Right.
Or hate all black people. So, it's important that a lot of people are, I tell my kids, like, my son specifically is 14, like, you can't believe everything you see and hear on the internet and read on, see on TV or read, a story. So many people just go off that,
Right.
And I think it's important that we talk to them. What would you tell? I mean, I guess it's a little more prevalent for you.
What do I tell my kids when they get of age?
Yeah, I mean, what would you tell your kids at they were at that age, 14, 15, where they can start leaving their impression on others, you know what I mean, in a society that's kind of backwards right now.
I think my most important thing is to listen to what they have to ask me. Mm-hmm. It's not like I have to tell them anything. Like, they gonna see for themselves, and then I just carry myself how I carry myself, and they'll see my example. It's nothing that I tell them until they start asking me questions, and I have to start answering them. So maybe the first question is, what does it mean to be black? What does it mean that I'm black? Or what does it mean that I'm white? Or who a white person? Like, what is a white person? What makes a person white? Whatever the question may be, I could just say, people are classified by the color of their skin, and that's how I talk to my children. Like, I just talk to them like they're adults, basically. Mm-hmm. So I'd say this is what's the structure that's been created, that people are classified by the color of their skin, and it doesn't really. Honestly, there's only one race, that's the human race. That's a fact. But society has developed a structure and a classification of people based on race, and that's it. So, whatever the next question is, I'll answer it to the best of my ability from my perspective. And what more can you do? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you gotta focus on doing the right thing, and treating people the right, how you want to be treated. The golden rule is a great rule to live by, so that I try to live by it as best I can. My turn.
Well, yeah. Take your phone, by the way. Yeah. So, you've seen the riots that have happened, but there's also protests going on, right? Mm-hmm. But of course, the riots get all the headlines.
Right.
People getting run over, but even in Mississippi, we're having so many peaceful protests everywhere, so many cities. Matter of fact, when I left out here a week ago, they were having a huge, I guess call it a protest, mm-hmm. in downtown Baton Rouge. No incidents, nothing happened. Baton Rouge and Jackson both have a lot of history of violence within the city, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All while this is going on, you have places like Chicago that, you saw what happened up in Chicago recently with, all the murders they've had in the past, week or so. But some people are using this like anarchist, almost, I mean, you've heard stuff about like Antifa organizations. And,
I don't really know. I can't really speak on Antifa because I don't really know too much about it.
I don't either, but I've seen a large part of these riots where they're there. You know what I mean? In a lot of the big cities, they're not coming up, Mississippi.
Who knows?
I mean, maybe, but it's almost like the people that just want to cause anarchy. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of young people.
And it's a lot of.
And it's not. It's whites. Black people it's blacks. It's it's like a group of people that they go to these protests and rallies. Almost just to
a rally that's supposed to be like
anarchy.
Peaceful, and they go there to mess it up and go there just to wild out. Now some people,
and then that becomes the headline now.
At the end of the day, it's what started the riot anyway, the so-called riot, if you want to call it that. It just depends on what something is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it's yours. Yeah. So like people just use that as an opportunity though to do whatever they want to do, but that they also are distracting people from what caused all of this. Like if you get to the root of a problem, you don't start with what the symptoms, you know what I'm saying? It's a cause and effect. What caused this to happen? Mm-hmm. And if you could just watch the video, and that's what it all started. But that is only just the straw that broke this camel's back. Like there have been many camels with broken backs that have come before. And so many different things that happen, and people just get upset. And it's not only that they dealing with police brutality, they dealing with discrimination in housing, they dealing with stress from not having, financial situations. They dealing with all kind of other things.
And then it kind of exploded.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's only a matter of time before people can be oppressed or, disenfranchised
you don't
before they react
think the
to
quarantine has had something to do with this though? Like, everyone's been essentially
it.
shut away from one another. You know what I mean? Like, we hadn't been in large groups for months, and then all of a sudden we come together and there's all this like bent up rage,
Sure,
it was like the George Floyd death. It was like that was just the thing that was people's excuse.
Think about this.
You don't hear nothing about
you look at the
riots,
stats.
COVID stats now that
the COVID stats have kind of took the back seat.
Right.
But you look at
for the news.
You look at the news about just thinking about how COVID has affected the Black community. Mm-hmm. That's because of disparate health care issues that people ain't getting. They don't have the proper access to health. Everybody already knew that, but nobody had anything to say about it. Until a global pandemic takes place, and Dr. Fauci, one of the doctor who was making all the speeches about COVID and keeping everybody updated, just kept it real and said, oh, yes, Black people are being affected, and they're more Black patients.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And if you look at the numbers, you see it, and
but it's a health thing, though.
Right.
So that's a reflection of we gotta think more about our health and how we build our immune systems. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, shouldn't that be the issue? Look, like this happened, and the result is we're as a society we're not healthy people overall. You know what I mean? And the system stinks because so many people, specifically lower income people, mom and pop shops, have been affected. But then so I feel like even the protests are a way of kind of like everybody's
they
pissed.
venting about that
Everybody's
too.
Like, come on, like
And going back to the speaking about defunding the police.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Now there's a hospital. Well, there were a couple emergency rooms in North Baton Rouge where the majority of citizens are African Americans or Black or however you want to identify yourself. Mm-hmm. I use African American though. So there were 2 emergency rooms that were there, and over the last 20 years, they aren't there anymore. So if something happens to you in North Baton Rouge, you get injured, the emergency room closest to you is about 20 miles away, which totally decreases the chances of your survival. Now, where those emergency rooms are located, the demographic is different. So it's like blatantly obvious and in your face that this is the case, but there aren't people who are complaining about defunding the police haven't been having those complaints about where the emergency rooms are. Back to education. Mm-hmm. No one raises hell when the education is defunded. We cutting the budget. Every year they cutting the budget. Now, thankful that the last couple of years the teachers have come together and started to push, and a couple raises have been given.
It's really nice.
I'll shout that out.
It's really nice they were still able to pay teachers, throughout this whole shutdown.
Right.
Because we already don't make a whole lot, and that would have, you're a household with 2 teachers. You know what I mean? So exactly. if that doesn't happen, it's
it's important to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that to say like to defund the police, because I do think good police who are doing it the right way should be paid more as well. Because that adds stress to them, and now they stressing because they got issues.
Incentives for police? They should get paid more. Who should get paid more?
Police officers? That's a slippery slope.
Who should get paid more? Well, police officers.
Slippery slope.
Police officers, you got guys on the force, sergeants, lieutenants.
I'm sure historically. Oh yeah, as you climb up the ladder of hierarchy, you should get paid more, obviously. But I'm sure that there have been incentives in the past for police that was like under the table, unwritten things,
We know police don't make great salaries.
No, they don't.
Neither do teachers.
Not great.
Isn't that crazy though? The two professions that are there.
It's kind of not crazy to me.
I'm saying it's the two professions that are of the utmost, like, right, essential to the communities,
right,
and the kids, and yet they should be dumping billions of dollars into education. They should make it more difficult. Like, you know, the police officers, like, I know where I'm from, Jackson, like, they need police officers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
if you go in the big cities, they need police officers. This happened Minneapolis, right?
Yes.
George Floyd. Large city. They probably need more police officers, I would imagine. Most do.
More good ones.
It's okay.
Everybody needs more good ones.
All right,
that's where I'm at with it. Like,
there's so many good police officers, but the ones that aren't, maybe it's just like, Reed, you and I know there's a lot of teachers that don't need to be teaching. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, for sure.
But we're not changing nothing about it.
Exactly.
There's nothing being done. They're not raising the standards for teachers in terms of, like, becoming a teacher. Is
right.
what I mean.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
Becoming a police officer. I feel like they need to have more incentive.
That's a great point.
You know what?
That's a great point.
You're gonna be paid more, but also it's more difficult. You know, we're gonna train you better. I loved Mississippi Valley and the teaching department there, but they were underfunded in terms of
in everything,
preparing me to be a teacher. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got in the classroom first year and it was very overwhelming. You know, so we do need to put more money into education, but also police. You know, police
I think.
I mean, what's more important? If you had to choose one right now, if you had to say education or police officer,
man,
education, because we're
even if I was a police officer, I would say education.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What's gonna hurt your kid more? You know what I'm saying? Than them being miseducated or not informed.
Right.
And it really starts at the house. Honestly, I think a lot of parents who don't have the education that they could have had, you know, because it wasn't funded properly for them, passing down the same thing and expecting teachers to do the job for them, and that's just not gonna happen if those teachers aren't properly resourced. Now, if the teachers are resourced properly, then it takes less pressure off the parents at home who don't really know how to teach. Everybody's not a teacher. I'm
still learning, man.
Exactly.
I'm still learning every year, but well, that's the thing, is that if we put more money into the system, we need to have more classrooms, less kids in classrooms. You know what I mean? We need to have more extracurricular activities where these kids can specialize early, you know, and
definitely.
But it's, you know, you think about since school shut down in Louisiana, we never went back for spring break. After spring break, we never went back.
We hadn't even had spring break yet.
So, you know, like child abuse is up, domestic violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you think about how many kids need that school. You know,
right?
They need it.
Right.
And it's not even that good, right? Well, I feel like it's. I feel like it's good. I feel
crucial.
Like we're going. When we do our job, we want to make it for the kids.
Yes.
Everything I do,
the kids
I
first.
promise it's got to be like what's most essential to them. Like, what do they need to be
successful, you know,
right?
and happy, like, and have peace of mind. Like, man, some kids, you knew the kid when you was in school who was struggling with identity, struggling with
socially,
all kind of struggles that we all had. I wasn't immune to it at all, but it's like I had things in place for me that I could overcome that. I had support systems. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I had a support system that provided things for me that I needed. Thank God for that. Other people, not so lucky.
Yeah, I mean, think about the past 3 months.
The past 3 months.
Like,
how many parents out of work?
Kids that like socially they don't know anything.
Right.
Like, they don't have friends when they go home. They don't talk to nobody.
Yep.
Mom and dad might be working. Like, school is maybe their only outlet in a sense,
right.
You know, to get away with.
And and connecting all that to just going back to the guy in North Dakota. The guy in North Dakota who saw us, who had never interacted with.
Who had never seen...
See a black man and a white man together.
A black man and a white man.
From the South.
And didn't think that we, like people of opposite races spoke.
Right.
This is the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
This guy did not think black people and white people were friends, spoke. And this is in 07.
And that we hated each other.
This is in 07? 06?
Mm-hmm.
So, call it what it is. That would be his ignorance.
Yeah, for sure.
He was the nicest guy in the world, but so ignorant. So,
right.
Do you think even situations that are going on? Do you think situations that are going on right now in our country, worldwide, he's not affected? Is he? Does he even have a voice?
There's no way.
Does it matter to him? Does it matter?
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't think it does. I don't think what's going on.
Right.
If he sees that on the news, he's flipping channels or whatever.
It doesn't affect him directly at all, honestly. And there's so many other people like that and that's why so many people lack empathy, because it's hard to understand a person's plight when you've never been in their shoes.
We talked about empathy last time.
We talked about it. Empathy, man, is a very, it's like your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel a connection with another person when you can feel another person's pain and understand it. And even to make an attempt to do so, like you might not be able to connect to everybody. You know, you might not know how. But that doesn't mean you can't try.
Try, man. Just
be like, you know what? Maybe this person is reacting this way because they're hurt by something else. Just maybe. All right. So and that brings me to my guy, Mr. Drew Brees, man. We can't.
Can I be honest with you?
We can't leave him out of there.
Can I be honest with you? You know, I don't even know what he said.
You don't know what he said?
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said, nor have I heard the apology. Like, I listen to talk radio, like ESPN, Fox, whatever, like I heard.
You heard people talking about it?
I heard people talking about it, but I've never actually watched the video. Because, I really don't care.
Yeah.
I mean...
About what Drew Brees got to say.
I don't care. Like, he's an athlete. He's a famous athlete. He's a rich athlete. Some consider to be, and I consider him and this is not showing Drew Brees, I'm saying, some professional athletes are people like false idols, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they worship Drew Brees, you know?
Right.
And when I guess, you tell me what he said. I don't know what he
said. So basically,
something about the flag, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't heard the video.
Me paraphrasing it is, I will never accept or be cool with, basically, someone disrespecting the flag. When he was asked about kneeling. You know,
okay.
The guy who was interviewing him asked him about players probably wanting to kneel because of what's going on with the George Floyd situation. And him saying, I can't get down with that. I didn't. Okay. Nah, so, you know, people were very upset with Drew Brees. And the context of it is
but people started out saying he was racist. I did hear, the only video I heard was Shannon Sharp.
Mm-hmm. Did Shannon say he was racist?
No. But it kind of implies that. Shannon Sharp started talking about, did you know that, in World War II, you were talking about your grandfather.
Right, because Drew Brees said that when he sees the flag, let me add that to the part of the interview.
Okay.
He said when he sees the flag, he's reminded of, he envisions his grandfathers fighting in World War II. Mm-hmm. And, they died for that. I mean, they didn't die, but they fought for that. And all the other people who made sacrifices, and then he even mentioned the civil rights movement and saying that people who stood up in that situation. So he did try to clean that up. The hot take, was about disrespecting the flag. But if you watch the whole video, he did mention the civil rights movement. And that did kind of change the context. That doesn't
But people were
make it okay, but it's
they were going at him saying, Shannon Sharp on the Undisputed with Davis, he was saying that, well, yeah, that's true, but referring to World War II, black people that fought in World War II, after it was over, they came back, they were still slaves. Right?
Not still slaves.
They weren't free.
Slave, yeah, right. Okay, I got you.
They weren't as free,
they didn't come back to the freedoms that they went and fought for.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, or the liberties.
They were going to war together.
Yeah.
You know.
Or the justice for all. None of that was granted to them by that.
Right. So, and I think that's what Shannon Sharp was saying. But
also, in the national anthem, you got the three verses about like the third verse has like mentioned about slavery or whatever. So like saying that it's okay. So like that's just think about Colin Kaepernick got all this going. So Drew Brees was he said it the first time. He was like, I ain't really cool with it. Whatever.
But then he was almost like forced into an apology, right? Because of the backlash?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to say you never have to do anything.
But he did.
He apologized because of it, though, for sure.
He was like, I'm sorry,
There's no
I
doubt
offended
about
people.
it. Yeah, like, oops.
But he's still...
My bad, y'all. I ain't know. My bad. Y'all came at me hard. Ooh, they told him up. They told him up.
But as soon as he starts throwing passes again, they're going to be like, Drew Brees. I mean, seriously.
Some people.
If people are serious...
Most people are, though.
I'm saying
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Because people Saints fans. That's the whole thing,
but
bro.
Drew
like,
Brees
you see, I got my cup.
But Drew Brees is the minority on his own football team.
Definitely.
Right?
He is.
I mean,
he's a minority in the football league.
And was in probably, where did he go to college?
Purdue.
He probably wasn't a minority.
Probably not.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I just don't watch news like that. I gotta be honest. I don't pay attention to it. I don't have fuel to the fire. It doesn't affect me, and I know that sounds selfish.
Right.
But I'm not gonna get heated over something that somebody says. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you said something that I disagreed with, I don't know if I had too many disagreements, but like, that would be different because I know you personally.
Right.
And it would affect me more on it. Dang, we've been friends for, if he said something low key, I don't know.
Yeah, I look at it like this. Like, a lot of people had a lot of opinions, things to say about Drew Brees. I ain't really have much to say. I put up the shut up and play ball thing because that's what they tell black athletes when they start talking about politics all the time. So like I troll about that because come on now, it's right there again, obvious for you to see that we are treated differently under certain circumstances. I'm viewed differently by the media under certain circumstances as well. But if I was Michael Thomas or if I was Malcolm Jenkins, your teammate, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming straight to you. Like, bro, where you at, man?
Yeah, I need to holler at that.
I'm not going on
social
Twitter.
Media.
I'm not going on.
Hey, man, you got my phone number. Just call me.
We can talk about it. I don't have to make it public. Yeah. Nah, Drew made a public statement, but it doesn't matter for me as your teammate. I'm putting all that aside and putting the team first.
But he didn't. But I'm saying he did not have one single thought when he was talking that what I'm saying is going to divide. Is make this about race.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
I don't think he did.
You really think that? We don't know him personally.
No, I don't know him either.
But
yeah, right.
I don't believe genuinely that if he said, whatever he said, that what he was saying was trying to be disrespectful or degrading or whatever. It's just, it seems kind of odd that that's what they have pushed on people.
This is
They're creating a divide, right? I mean, that's what media is doing.
I agree with that for sure. Divide and conquer is a strategy that works very well and has been working for centuries. But Drew Brees, I thought he would, it's two things. He has a PR deal, right? He has to have proper public relations and image. So
he's got to come out.
There are supporters of Drew Brees who support Colin Kaepernick, and there are supporters of Drew Brees who hate Colin Kaepernick. That is a divide right there. So when he spoke on that, he spoke on the side of those who support who hate Colin Kaepernick, and that is kind of a slap in the face.
I don't hate Colin Kaepernick, but I also I know, in regards to education with the flag, you got a flag in your classroom?
Yep.
Most schools do, I would imagine. Do y'all say Pledge of Allegiance?
You already know.
Every morning, right?
Every morning.
Okay, so I stand up, my hand over my heart, I say the Pledge of Allegiance, right? So there's kids, and I tell myself, just, stand up. There's a lot of kids who don't.
Right.
Who literally could care less. They're not going to stand up. They're not going to put the hand over the heart. I have to tell some kids hey, just be respectful of others. You know what I mean? That want to stand and salute the flag, so to speak. But does that make them, you know, it's hard to mandate that. Do you have issues with that? Like,
you got to go. Oh, that's your piece.
Yeah,
you all up in my spot, man. Hold up.
Dude, I'm saying, is there a way to mandate that? Because if you say if you're a teacher and you go stand up, you know, but you could easily make it up because the majority of my students are black. So I'm not gonna be like, you stand up, you know, this is the flag. I don't say that. I just go. I'd be like, y'all know what teenagers in other countries are doing right now. Like, y'all live in the best country. Like,
right. You got the choice.
This is my way of saying
you got the choice.
But then you get into I pledge allegiance to the flag. I guess that in my way that's me saying like I'm not going to do anything to divide like the country, people in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right.
So that's what, and I tell them, I was like, that's what it means to me.
Yeah.
But Pledge of Allegiance is different than the Star Spangled Banner.
It is.
You know what I mean? They're different. They have, if you look at the meaning of, I think the Pledge of Allegiance, I think it's more representative of what I guess America should be. Does that make sense?
I agree. I feel you on that because
it's a simpler form of it.
One nation. I mean, some people.
One nation under God.
One nation under God. Now that throws some people off right there. First sentence. But it should be one nation under whatever.
Yeah.
I believe in God.
Yeah, I do too.
So I'm
whoever's
cool with
God.
it. But
whatever God.
First Amendment is what? Freedom of religion. So you can't be mad at people who feel like that's not.
Who aren't going to stand for it.
Exactly.
You just have to say, these are the reasons that I do it. Just be respectful.
I stand for this.
Right.
You sit for that, or you don't stand for this part.
But
we still want liberty and justice for all.
Right.
We still want to be indivisible, not divided.
Right.
That makes sense. Like that.
But
there's nothing disrespectful about that.
But kids don't hear that though. You know what I mean?
They don't do nothing but look at the flag. They don't even think about the words.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really break down every word and every line.
To be honest, I didn't either when I was in high school. I wasn't thinking about it.
You weren't.
See, you know what I mean?
You know what that's called, right? It's a privilege. Because you didn't have to think about it and view those words. Man, you know what? I don't really see liberty and justice for all. I don't really see that. And not only do I not see it, I see it against people who look like me. So I'm automatically thinking about I'm standing up and doing the pledge all through school.
Okay.
I stood up and did it, and when I was younger, I was extremely patriotic. I wasn't really paying attention. But once I did start paying attention, I was like,
did y'all have them plays when y'all was elementary?
Which plays?
I was George Washington.
Oh, see what I'm saying?
You do the plays when you're coming up. They teach you about America and patriotism.
Look, man, I used to sing. I sung a solo in my class of the Christopher Columbus 1492 song.
The
history
of America is so ingrained in the schools, in a certain way.
That's another part of the education process, man. Fund the schools right so people can know the truth. You ain't gotta just, you gotta tell them the truth. Don't tell the whole story. Like a lot of stuff is left out that I had to go teach myself because it helped me to identify, what I'm capable of and what my lineage comes from. Like so many people, black people in America, man, have no kind of way to trace their history. Like people do ancestry DNA. That's cool. But how do we really know how accurate that is? You know what I'm saying? There's so many different ways you could look at it.
Well, that's why we got to go back to getting our teachers, our new teachers coming up, prepared.
Prepared.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Get these. Let's really put some money into the teachers that are in college now. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, honestly, when I was a freshman in college. I knew it. I was like, I'm gonna be a coach.
Yeah. That's what's up. I wish I'd have known.
I knew when I was in there. I was like, I want to be a coach and teacher. You know what I mean? But we got to get the ones coming up right now ready. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We got to get them ready.
For sure.
Because they didn't really prepare us for some things that we have to deal with. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't.
No.
You don't talk about interaction. Racially with how are you going to handle. Telling a black student this as compared to a white student. They don't teach you that.
No, they don't.
Not
in the school, right?
It's and it's just it's crazy how that works out. But
yeah. So how do you expect a white person to really learn how to do this the right way and how to connect with their students if they have never interacted? If that guy from North Dakota came down here and taught at Howell Park Elementary, the school that I went to, how would he know how to talk to them kids?
It would be like it would be the same as dropping you off in Mexico and saying, teach an English class. You know what I mean?
And don't speak a lick of Spanish.
Right.
Or maybe just, a little bit.
Yeah. I'm for sure about it.
But that's right. So people who don't connect with one another are not going to be able to have success. It's difficult. It's not like that. It can't happen. But it is very difficult for people to be able to do that. So, we at about 52 minutes right now.
All right.
So we're getting close to when we're going to start taking some of these questions.
Yeah, let's see. Coach Sweeney says hello.
Coach Sweeney.
A lot of people are kind of jumping on and off.
Yeah.
Coach Shelton.
Whatever. If they got any good ones in there, we could answer them.
Yeah. If.
Let's see. All right. Now I'm gonna make this move. What you got going on over there? Okay. Bishop. I'm about to take one of yours. I'm about to take either Bishop.
You just moved that.
Yeah. Somebody about to die.
Okay. After I make this move, and we're gonna wait for people to start. Y'all feel free to ask some questions. About whatever. But what's gonna be different when we start schools back in August with all this racial stuff that's been going on? Is there gonna be? It almost feels like we got to get ready for something as teachers.
No doubt.
Like we got to be ready to.
Our students are gonna test us.
Somebody come in.
They want to know.
Somebody come in like, this is for George Floyd, boom or something. Kids crazy like that though, man.
Ain't nobody doing that.
I'm just saying.
Well, maybe somewhere, but not in my class.
No, not in my class neither. I'm just.
Yeah, it's gonna be all good. Bro.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Do you think there's gonna be?
At the end of the day, whatever the students we want, if those questions come up, we just gotta answer them. In a respectful way, with empathy of. If I have a black student that come to me and ask me, what are my thoughts, and I got to do my best to help them understand, what's going on. And the same thing for my white students. I'm not gonna treat them any different, honestly. I'm gonna just be there for both of them because that's my job and that's what I want to do. I want to help young people. It doesn't really matter what color their skin is, but just at the end of the day, man. I have to lead by example for my students. And they have to see me come to work hard, be persistent, be consistent, and do a good job. And give them my best every day. And I have to live with the results of what my best is. I can't be anyone else, and I can't do any better than that. So I'm going to just leave it at that and let the chips fall where they may.
There's a lot of people, some people are saying, they didn't feel comfortable standing for the pledge in high school and whatnot. I don't think people should be made to feel like, ridiculed or whatever. You know what I mean? For not standing for it. But I've even got, Spanish kids that, you have a large Spanish population.
Not really.
Okay,
there was an increasing one in
the last couple of schools I worked at. We had a large population, right? One of the schools I worked at was even previously rated last year with the ice raids. Remember that one through Mississippi? The school got hit hard, man.
For real?
Like kids' parents were taking.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of young kids.
Oh, but, man, that's messed up.
But so
I heard about that.
Their perception of American flag is going to be different than a white person's, black person's. But we used to have we had kids from Honduras, Puerto Rico. They were thankful. They'll say the pledge in Spanish. You know what I mean?
I seen that.
They were just like, "Thank you, Jesus, I'm here in this country," because a lot of these kids in Mexico, they're escaping stuff that kids here can't even fathom. I've had stories. I've had right.
We spoiled.
I've had stories of one of my former players. She said her brother dropped her off at the border in El Paso. Dropped her off at the border, told her good luck. So she gets picked up. They
One of your students?
Yes, she was 14 when it happened.
Okay.
14. She's about 5'3". Okay.
Oh.
Says good luck. I just speak no English. She gets picked up. They had a system. They had a system. They knew. She got picked up and was put in an ICE holding unit in Seattle, right? Mm-hmm. From El Paso. So she all the way up here. But then
it's a long way.
What happens is, if you're under 18 and they could find family, legal residence in the country, they will place you with that family.
Right.
And you have to enroll in a school.
Yeah. They got to get them in school.
And that is the loophole. Education, man. Like, if it wasn't for public education, immigrant kids couldn't come in this country and get educated, or at least live here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
that's wow.
Did that kind of hit you?
Yeah, I'm tripping about that because I'm like, I ain't know about that.
Yeah.
So you can just come here as a juvenile, as a youth, and basically gain citizenship and access to public education. I'm guessing they get access to healthcare as well, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the
thing.
Some
people have a problem with that.
It's kind of loop.
Some people think that there should be a wall.
Okay.
That not to stop that from
happening. All right. Let me.
To stop children from learning.
I'm not talking about the children part. I'm not talking about the children part. Okay.
I'm just thinking about that. You know.
We were all immigrants at one point. My grandparents and whatnot. Okay.
My people weren't immigrants, bro. They weren't. Yeah, exactly.
They were.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm saying is that. So.
But we came from somewhere else, though. Whether it was our will or against our will, we got here.
Regardless,
we weren't born here.
But once they get here, they get to go to school here. So, but if they turn, once they get over 18, now there's reason to send you back.
If you do something wrong, if you're not working or whatever.
Right, if you're not working or if you're not enrolled in school. But okay, you talk about people. I'm not saying.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If we're building a wall for protective purposes, okay. Because we have a huge issue with drug trafficking coming from the Mexico border. Huge issue.
Yeah.
That would be my reason to build the wall. Let's stop the drug trade. Okay?
Really?
Look.
Come on, man. That's not gonna stop it. They will fly it in.
It will
It's
help.
A wall, bro.
It will help. Okay. Either way, so I'm not against people coming to the country and learning and getting kids, doing it the right way. But I know people personally that don't have to pay taxes. Wouldn't you like to not have to pay taxes, young Greg?
I would.
I would love to not have to pay taxes.
Right.
So why do they get to pay taxes?
That's our part that we play. Now, I mean, I feel you that they don't even. It's a benefit to some people who don't have to pay taxes.
Right.
But if you got money and other people hurting, bro, it's just like sharing.
Right.
Like if you that kid in 4th grade that come to school and got a bag full of chips, and it's 4 people at your table. You pull your bag of chips out, you ain't gonna get them like a big old, like share your big old bag of chips. Now, if you just got a little bit of chips.
We're talking about taxes, right?
Yeah, okay. But I'm using an analogy here.
Right.
Like if you just got a little bit, you ain't gonna really share that much. But if you got a whole bunch, why you can't share? You know what I'm saying? And I ain't speaking from a person who got a whole bunch, but I feel like I gotta do my part to help. If taxes have to come out of my check to pay for education, I'm with it. Because it's educating my kids and other people's kids, and I ain't got to be worried about paying for nothing for them to come and get out of jail or like them robbing me. If they get educated, they're probably gonna be less likely to commit crimes. Smart people usually don't commit as many crimes as ones who are as educated. And people who are impoverished don't get educated.
Yeah, but
properly at least. They get an education through all of their experiences of their harsh life they have to live.
Yeah, and
some of them,
Noah Trujillo. All right, we can answer some questions.
Yeah, it's time for the questions, man. Good talk, though.
Yeah, that was good.
Sweeney,
I mean, if the ones that don't pay taxes, they may sometimes make $2 an hour. Somebody said, well, the people that don't pay taxes, they don't make as much. Well,
what is that?
I mean,
sorry.
There's people that run their own businesses that work all on cash. Everything's on cash. Nothing's documented. So these same people that we're talking about the tax question right now. The same people that don't pay taxes also don't have to pay car insurance. They don't have car insurance. Right.
They don't have no
Homeowners
kind
insurance,
of like documentation, so they not really
right. A lot of the
registered.
families that I've known, there'll be 3 families in a 3-bedroom house, 1 family per house. Rent maybe $1,500. Guess what? They're paying $500 for rent.
Do you want to live like that though?
I'm just saying, but it's so bad in their country
that they getting a
that
better
they come
deal.
to America, Mississippi of all places.
So
So
group economics.
I don't want to. That's why I don't ever want to like be the one who's like slamming the country. What do you say, Chris? I'm sorry.
She said that's group economics, and it works for
Right,
groups.
and they're okay with
They're
it.
they not the first group of people to do that. You know,
They're
there
okay.
are other ethnicities
Right.
that do the same thing.
There's no right way to live. Like you don't have to live
What's
in
wrong with it?
one household. You know what I mean?
You don't.
You can do whatever you want to.
But we kind of been trained to be like you get 1 family per house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we raised.
But they're almost being smarter about it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Group economics.
I ain't tripping.
They're
I
just
wouldn't be
being so much
tripping
smarter.
about living in a bigger house with my brothers and the other family. Like that might be
So-
that might be a better deal.
Coach, that's what I'm saying. So Coach,
You could buy a bigger house and have your wing over here and your wing over there. We cook in the kitchen. We eat. You know, we save money on food.
that's what Sweeney was saying, that they only make $2 an hour, but they're saving so much more money because
Yes,
even
right. So I ain't tripping on them. I think
they get free school, free lunch, free breakfast, which is great, man. Give the kids everything.
give it to them.
Give them everything.
They kids.
Why are any kids in school paying for lunch?
Why?
Right? Why?
Why? It don't even matter. Feed
Like,
the kids.
Hey, how
Be
about
adults.
this?
That's what we
How
supposed
about
to do.
this? Why are teachers paying for lunches at school?
That's another good question.
Can we not add like
I wouldn't.
1/10 of a penny tax to everyone else in the United States just so we could eat?
Man,
lunch for
that'll
free?
save me so much money trying to get
Or let
food
the
for
kids eat
lunch.
free.
So many teachers.
Shout out to a former school I went to. Every kid ate free. Breakfast and lunch.
I think a lot of kids are eating free nowadays
It's
in
great.
public schools.
Mhm.
I don't know who's paying too much. I think
And I know the
think
food's
in
not
EBR,
the best.
like everybody
I know
eats
the
free.
food's not the best,
Oh,
but
bro.
it's better than going home and having McDonald's or Little Debbie's
Bro, that
every
food
night.
is so nasty now.
I
I ain't
haven't
gonna lie.
eaten McDonald's in probably a couple
The
years.
food in East Baton Rouge Parish School, bro.
The food's bad at school.
It used to be good when I was young.
Um,
No, I ain't gonna lie. Some days it'd be straight, but
Hey, who's Adam LeBert?
Adam, little girl, man.
Alright, you gotta check that out. Racklin Buffin, what's up?
That's my boy from Boise, man. He's
No,
money.
we're talking about Noah said we're just answering some questions right now, guys. Let me get this going. Answer that thing from Noah. Real
Shout out to Adam, man.
Is it my move? Is it my move? Your move?
It's yours, man. You been scared to move because
Okay.
I'm about to take something from you.
Answer something to Noah real quick. Answer
Alright.
something to Noah, and then there's the next 2 questions right here, right there. Look, right there.
Okay. Subjects that we teach and say is the same season doom. All right, so I teach.
I'm sorry, man. I
let, me,
don't care.
let me go ahead and answer the
You're
question.
from Louisiana.
I'm not.
There's more Saints fans in Mississippi.
Listen to this right here.
There's probably more loyal Saints fans in Mississippi that were cheering for the Saints when we had like Bobby Abear as the quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, look.
than
Mississippi
Louisiana
got-
people. I'm serious.
Mississippi
Anyway,
got
go
some
ahead.
old school
Mississippi
loyal,
has some loyal Saints.
and the Saints bandwagon has
Loyal.
grown astronomically.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I
okay.
troll, regularly. But I'm a part of the Raider Nation, and I really
Wow.
am not interested in the Saints. We play the Saints this year in Vegas, so I'm hoping that the season is doomed at least through week 2. What happens after that, I really don't care. Honestly, well, I'm gonna be watching though, because I don't really hate the Saints, to be honest. I'm making it public now. I really don't. The bandwagon kind of made it annoying a little bit, but I did always cheer for the Saints back in the day, and a lot of people who cheering for them now didn't back then, and now they like getting all the credit, like being a winning fan, and my team suck. So I'm hating a little bit, honestly. But I teach Quest for Success.
Well, so basically,
Yeah.
you don't think the Saints season is doomed? Doomed? I mean, what do we? Dude, these guys are making millions of
No,
dollars.
the same season is not doomed. They already said it's all good.
You know how much?
Michael Thomas should post a picture of them hugging and stuff.
Okay. All right.
So
So,
don't lead the league in receptions again, probably.
all right.
7 yards apiece.
Subjects y'all teach. Sweeney, I teach PE.
Yeah, he
I
teaches
coach
PE.
soccer.
Yeah.
So I majored in health and PE. I love coaching PE. I make kids do push-ups. I wish we had PE every day.
Y'all don't have it?
We're on a block schedule.
Y'all go back and forth.
So, but I got 17, 18-year-old kids that got to have PE credits. Or freshmen.
Oh, say what?
You got seniors that need PE credits.
Oh, yeah.
Seniors that need physical education credits.
Yeah.
And the rules are very simple. I'm just trying to promote moderate daily exercise. But we only have PE every other day. All right. So I teach PE. All right. I'm gonna go.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
I've been waiting on you to move so I can
Sorry.
take your pee.
Okay, let me take this.
All right. Let me get the fish. That's all I wanted. Okay. It's all good.
All right. You got to talk about your subjects you teach after you move.
All right.
Kevis Johnson said, "Wow, but."
All right. So in the past, I majored in political science. I taught civics, and I taught African American studies at McKinley High School. And I also was a member of this program called Humanities Amp, which was so dope. I learned so many different strategies about being a good teacher in that program, and I'm still a part of it. Shout out to Humanities Amp. But now I teach a class called Quest for Success at St. Amar High School, and this year I will be teaching African American Studies there as well. So, and I coach football and track, and I also coach baseball on the side at with the Traction Sports Complex, the Canes 12U. So yeah.
But you're teaching stuff that is
practical.
You're teaching something, Reed, that can go everlasting after they leave your classroom, right?
Right.
So PE doesn't have those standards that yours does. But listen, we do push-ups, sit-ups, calisthenics, leg kicks, things like that.
Right.
Stretching. And I usually give them a choice. That usually takes about 10 minutes. Basic. Some kids aren't dressed out. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it.
Right.
I'm not gonna ruin my day in your day because there's no law in the handbook that says they have to dress out.
Can't force
But some do,
nobody.
some don't. I'm okay with that. But you're at least gonna do the exercise. You're gonna do the best you're
My
doing.
turn again?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's yours. It's your turn.
No, it's
I
yours.
got your call. But yeah, like we were talking about with COVID, the pandemic. They're saying your immune system's good. You're a lot better chance off to not get this and be affected from it.
Right.
PE's so undervalued in schools. It needs to be more valued in terms of expectations. You know what I mean? I think it's listen. I think it's, talking about schools where we teach. I'm gonna hit on a bit. I think we've gotten soft as schools. I think we have.
Uh-oh.
I think that no schools should allow cell phones. They shouldn't have kids allow these cell phones, man. Why are kids allowed to have cell phones in school? And as a teacher, I tell my kids, remember the experiment I told you I did? The notification experiment. I put the phones up on the board during a 40-minute session, and I told them to all turn the notifications on. And I had one student who was marking every time a notification. So I had 30 phones set up, right? 30 phones. We turned on all social media stuff, texts, emails, phone calls, and we didn't turn the volumes up. But so I had no idea what was going on. I didn't want to know. The girl was putting the check marks, the tallies, right?
Right.
Every time went off. And my class is early in the morning. I'm lecturing. We're talking about why does a 15-year-old need a phone from 8:30 to 10? What is so important in your life that you need a phone? Anyway, I'm getting off, but regardless, there was over 100 notifications come out.
100. And so, how long y'all blocks?
Hour and a half, but the lecture that day was like 45 minutes of talking. So group discussion, I get more out of it, and that's pretty much my example of even if you look down at your phone for 3 seconds, and you for a minute, and you for 2 minutes, you're not hearing me.
Right.
Like, why are you here?
Why
are you? And the worst part, I have parents texting their kids in school.
Oh.
Why are you texting your kids in school,
Trey.
man?
Put them on blast.
What are we doing? I would never text my son in school. Like, my son brings his phone to school. I'm like, he knows when When he walks in the first classroom, it puts in his back room, his book bag. He don't get on it and stuff. We need to get phones. We need to get phones out of the school. What do you think?
You think Josh don't get on the phone?
I know he doesn't. He's a good kid.
No, this the deal though. The phone thing, bro, is hard to deal with, but you just gotta put it away for certain. You know,
even
the
as
kids
adults,
are so attached to it, and me too.
We can't be on it during lectures and stuff.
Right? No, not during lectures
or anytime.
But the thing about it is, bro, these kids have been born and raised with phones in their hand. Like they don't know anything else, so it's like attached to them. So I just kind of build in time in my classroom for them to just pull their phone out. Like take a break, 2 minutes.
My class,
they get it out, boom, go
my
back.
class is first
Be
period.
done.
My inside the classroom first period.
Yeah.
When I teach like health education, things like that. You know, we talk a lot about addiction. You know, just real stuff, not definitions on, you know, the definitions of cocaine and all that. We talk about real stuff, addiction. You know, how it affects everybody. So, like, be respectful. I'm trying to give you knowledge of what I know, what I've learned. Be respectful. Put the phone away. Because we technically, as teachers, have rights to take the phone.
That's it. You're right.
But I'm not.
And sometimes you have to take the phone.
But I'm not.
Like, hey man, let me get that.
I'm not going to get into an argument, you know, and have to write a kid up because he won't give me my phone. He won't give me his phone.
Man, if they're gonna have to follow my rules. If it's not phone time and the phone is out, the phone is mine, straight up. That's just it. And if they can't respect that, then they got to get out and go deal with, you know, the authorities. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is, man. Because I gotta maintain order in my class. Like I have to maintain control. I have to be a person who, you know, is serious and stern, but also, you know, like I get it. Like I know what you're going through. So I try my best to gain their respect so I can be respected.
Right. That's
just my strategy behind that. But you know, teaching African American studies and civics, like you gotta talk about real situations and real things that happen in real life that have changed the course of history and built, you know, the things that built our country, the laws, you know, the timeline of, you know, how voting has been, you know,
let me ask you
but you gotta talk about race though. If you teaching any kind of American history class or anything that has to do with American history, race gotta come up. You can't ignore it. It's a part of our culture so deeply ingrained that to avoid those questions really does a disservice to the learner. You know what I'm saying? So I just always think it's very important to discuss everything that was going on. And don't try to sugarcoat it, anything, none of that. Just tell them what it was. Let them do what they want to do with the information. Mm-hmm. All you can do is lead the horse to water. You don't have to tell them how they should think or how they should view it. They're going to view it based on their perspective of how they view anything else anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take on that, because it's just I don't know why people avoid it so much. Like people get uncomfortable. I do get that, and that's but you gotta just get uncomfortable to move forward. It's just part of life. You know what I'm saying?
So many young kids are afraid to get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I can't say that I was any different.
Video games and stuff.
What, playing video games?
Yeah, that was your comfort.
Yeah, well.
Dude, our games were so. Our video games on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, were so simple and basic that you're essentially doing the same thing over and over. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't something that now everything's a story. You know what I mean? It's just all about the interaction of it.
Right.
Anyway.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, go see if we got any other questions. But I'm gonna go back to the Saints and think about, you know, what that no, not yet. Okay. What that situation did to the locker room. You know, just how
people
is Drew Brees gonna win the locker room back? That's the question.
People don't know how hard it is as a minority in a locker room. Like school I coached at this past year had like 2 white kids on the whole team of 70 kids. You know what I mean? So you're entering into a black culture, so to speak, right? if you play college football, basketball, majority of the schools are going to be predominantly black athletes, right?
Majority of them, yep.
So these are a lot of people who are given free education, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear a lot of backlash about these players are getting paid. You know what I mean?
What, the college players?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of backlash.
Man, why not?
Yeah,
Why
we've
not?
been one. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're
See,
talking
that's another thing. That's another example of us empathizing and understanding what it's like to be a college athlete and knowing that they deserve to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, had we, people who have not been in that situation and think that college athletes shouldn't be paid and don't understand what they're going through and how financial, assistance would help them, you just blind to the actual reality of it, and I don't think that is that's fair to not see or try to see what the other person is going through and figure out if they need help, how can they be helped.
Yeah, I mean, with Drew Brees, he'll win back the locker room, right? Surely. I mean, he's the one that does the pregame.
I don't think it'll never be. It won't be
pregame.
the same. It won't be the same. But he's doing everything he can to clean his image back and rebuild their relationships. We didn't really talk about his apologies. He made an original apology. He said he just missed the mark. A lot of people use the phrase tone deaf. I think that's been overused at this point. But he was just like blind to really what he was saying. He was kind of ignorant, and a lot of people, or this is his words, me paraphrasing it or my interpretation of what he was trying to say. But then he doubled down on that and said that Donald Trump, he made a post and said that Donald Trump needs to listen to the players and don't go that far. I probably should have reread it, but he did tag Donald Trump in an Instagram post to kind of push the envelope even further and say that I want to fight for what's right. That's what he said. Time will tell. We don't know what, he changed his mind because of the backlash he got. Mm-hmm. And that's a fact. So at the end of the day, I don't think he's lost the locker room, but I don't think he's gonna gain it back to the level that he had. So it's always that what he said gonna always be in the back of the minds of Malcolm Jenkins and Michael Thomas for sure. Even Alvin Kamara spoke up too.
But I mean, when he got there, he won the locker room like that, right? Just from his leadership on the field, off the field, things he was doing.
He's a leader.
Russell Griffith, what's up, man? Long time friend
Russ?
Russ was one of them. We're talking about being like a minority. It's funny how you could be a minority in athletics.
Mm-hmm. So I don't really use the term minority when I'm describing people because it kind of diminishes you a little bit.
Yeah, because you could. Yeah.
But it depends on whatever situation you're gonna be a minority somewhere.
We're just trying to point out the fact, hey, I'm a minority in the situation.
Yeah.
Other side
a racial minority.
Yeah, but doesn't everybody need to be a minority at some point in their life? Think about how many people have never been the minority.
Yeah, that's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real. When you always in the majority, you always got the strength in numbers.
When you always,
so you feel
you're
like
always
you're invincible.
If you're always from Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah, or the cop in Minnesota now. I don't know what the demographic is racially in Minnesota, but I would
assume it's like Asian. One dude look half black. One dude was dark.
All white dudes, right?
No,
one of them is
two of them.
Is that one was Asian?
Two were white, but one looks like he was mixed.
Okay.
So that was what threw me off. I was like,
they blue, right?
Yeah. But I mean, anyway.
That's what people say.
What up, Kim Folk? Love y'all. That's what Russ said.
What up, Russ?
Yeah, Russell was the only. Okay, when I got to so being a minority in the locker room.
How many white dudes we had on the team?
When I first got there was a lot.
5 or 6.
I say a lot. It was like 5.
Yeah, out of
but it was
890.
It was funny because it was like O-line,
quarterback,
California. Man,
we
had a huge California
quarterback and kicker.
Huge California connection. Russell can.
We didn't have no white DBs.
No, hold on. Russell was from Cali. Bacciarini,
Cali.
Big Ian, tight end, Cali.
He played quarterback though.
No. Okay.
He had a strong. He should have played baseball.
But yeah, it was. Then it got, and Blanco was the only Hispanic on the football team.
Yep, that's right.
We would always.
And the rest of
we would always
black guys.
We would always like. I think yeah, but my junior and senior year, it was just me and Blanco.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Your senior year,
as
nobody else. Z unit.
But it was funny because every time we'd walk in a hotel, they'd be like, "You the quarterback or the kicker?" I'm like, what are you trying to say, man? You know,
you should have told him you was the starting running back.
Neither. I'm the punter. You know? It was just funny.
So you got profile, basically.
Profile, man.
Automatically. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm sorry to do that to you.
We should be joking about that.
I'm so sorry, bro.
But no, it was
but that's how prejudice worked, though.
I didn't do anything in the locker room that like. This is a true story. Like my black teammates would try to make me like say words I don't want to say. Like, they thought it was funny, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I appreciate
nah,
you.
Let's say it, you know? I'm like, what, come on, man. I'd be like, is this a joke? What's going on? You know? Is this a test? You know what I mean? Because you can imagine like a little.
Hey, you did
5'10", 150-pound white kid coming to. Like, you know, I got tied to the goalpost. You know what I mean?
Freshman year, they tied him to the goalpost.
Me and Blanco got tied to the goalpost.
No, but this what y'all used to.
Practice. Then we had to
y'all used to always
practice.
do pranks on me, though.
We did a lot of pranks.
Y'all wrote my name on the football field, and then y'all saran wrap my clothes. Y'all did that to everybody.
That was Blanco. I didn't know that.
Yeah, right.
I never saran wrapped anything. I was just there.
He lying. You already confessed this, bro. Don't try to. Crawfish in front of everybody. You definitely wrote my name on the. No, Blanco did that, huh? Which one of y'all did it?
I did.
Blanco did it.
Only thing I did specifically was.
That was the worst.
Only thing I did was tie the dummy bags to Coach Totten's golf cart. So when he drove from the practice field to lunch, he had two dragging the whole way. He never knew it. You know.
Hell, Trey, what the hell you doing?
Anyway,
what up, Coach?
Blanco was watching. He knows about that.
Blanco, which one did you do? Did you saran wrap my clothes and write my name on the field?
Blanco did all that.
Tell the truth.
Blanco put icy hot in jock straps, helmet. He would just he would tape stuff to benches. You know what I mean? I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, come on, man. I can't do El Salvadorian.
Oh man. But, shout out to Blanco, man.
Anyway,
let's take one more if they got any more questions, and we gotta get on about here.
Yep. We've been going what? Almost 2?
Yeah, almost. No, about an hour and a half.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Time to shut it down. Noah, who is someone we played. He played baseball and coached at Mississippi Valley. Noah's from New Mexico, and Noah was a person I always respected because he was his own person. He was Hispanic, but he embraced the cultures of all races. You know what I mean? Coming from where he was from, Noah was talking about how he said the government says they don't have money for funding, but they found $2 trillion overnight for C-19, which we're talking about that government funding. So Noah's asking about government funding. Where should it go? We're both going to say $1 billion in education. We just talked about, we just sent people into space.
Yeah. How you $1 trillion in debt? How you owe somebody $1 trillion?
What do we...
Like, just listen to how that sounds. Like, I'd be feeling bad if I borrow $5 from somebody and don't get it back to them.
But why are we going to space?
$1 trillion in debt. It don't even matter no more.
Is there money in space?
Maybe. I don't know what they're going to space for. But why we got money to go to space and people hungry? How is that going on at the same time?
I just know that to build one of those rockets, it costs a lot of government money.
It's got to be in the billions.
So
to go to space and do what?
It's not like we profit financially from going. You do things. You spend money to make money. What money are we making? And I could be wrong. I'm just oblivious to it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm just a health and PE teacher. But I'm saying
maybe there are jobs that they employ people that pay.
A lot of people work for NASA to get the spaceship up.
Well, they should be funding the schools. They making this money.
Maybe they're trying to go find a cure for COVID or something.
The cure is in space.
Either
say
way.
the movie, dog.
I like that. Joseph Blanco would pass gas in the team meetings and get kicked out. Russell, you're right, man. Me and Blanco one time, Russ, story. If any of our former coaches watching, like Coach Washington,
man,
he knew it, but
I love all my coaches.
Coach Washington would make me and Blanco sit in the defensive meetings. Even though we never had one special teams meeting. We had special teams like walkthroughs and certain meetings, but during preseason, 2 days they would have defensive meetings every night, offensive meetings every night. You know what I mean? Get in the playbook.
Right.
I just have these Coach wouldn't let me go to sleep, so I'm trying to learn about defenses. All I'm ever hearing is check China, whatever that means. Check China, cover 2, check China.
Cover 6. Right, a lot of cover 6.
So we would get bored, of course, and we're like, man, this is 2 hours.
So y'all start cutting up.
We try to find stuff to do. One time, we went to. It was one point they finally put us in separate meetings. So Blanco was like with the offense, and I was with the defense, or something. So we planned to meet up in the hallway, and we had some fireworks. You know the kind that go.
The little pockets?
No.
Like you light them on fire?
The
black cats.
The ones that go off
100
whatever. It's a really short fuse. So Blanco was like, "Come on, man, let's do it." So anyway, we threw him inside the right at the entrance, so it was loud. But we had to do 500 push-ups before the meeting was over. I remember, like.
Oh really? Hold on.
Blanco might have been crying or something.
500 push-ups.
Like that was our goal. We couldn't stop to be at 500. I don't think we finished.
Yo, that's wild.
Because Coach Jefferson was there, making sure we did them. We'd take a break after like every 20. But y'all got to 5. No way y'all did. No way.
That's impossible.
We couldn't even lift our arms. We had to finish the next day. After practice. Anyway.
Oh man.
All right. Someone says, how soon do y'all think NCAA player reimbursement will take place across the board, and when does it start? Do y'all think there will be more scandal violations, or will police be considered appropriate benefits, or who will police what will be considered appropriate benefits? All right, I'll answer that. No, it's all good. DRS, I'll answer that real quick. I felt like that I was given X amount of money for my 4.5 years of tuition. Right? They paid for my school. They're able to fund me for what I'm doing right now and providing for my wife and kids. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They gave me money. I could have been an astronaut, Reed. I could have been a doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That's why I tell my son, like, because you play sports, I mean, you gotta play sports. When you get older, you could be an architect. Anyway, so I don't think that we have to necessarily reimburse. I was getting full pay scholarship, 3 meals a day, right? Room and board.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pay like a little bit for laundry.
Right.
I'm talking about if you stayed on campus. And you could always move off campus, but you stayed on campus, which we didn't have nice dorms at.
No.
But also I got a $75 stipend check a month. That's it. Meanwhile, Eli was up in Oxford at the same time we were. He's getting like $475 stipend check. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I knew what the people who was at LSU when we.
I'm just saying he was. Back in 06, there's got to be more money in it. But in terms of that, I feel like if you did that to a greater extent, how you say his name? D'Arson?
Yep.
D'Arson, if you did that to a greater extent, then it just becomes the rich get richer and the poor get poor. And you're going to see more division in college sports. You're going to see the rich sports go on to, because, hey man, you can't say, hey man, come to Valley because low key, we got some, you're going to be in some commercials with some car dealerships, whatever. And I might go to, now if HBCUs had HBCUs like BET, cut a deal with HBCUs. Show all the HBCU games. People will watch that.
Yes.
There's not a big audience, but there's an audience for it. That'll help the players a little bit, right?
Yep. Revenue.
And stop spending money. We don't need colleges in Florida flying to California to play a sport. I'm sorry. I just don't like that costs a lot of money to fly a plane. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay, it just gets to a point to where I feel like that the universities, they provide kids with so much. But the ones that aren't on scholarship, who are paying their ways and whatnot, like my last name is Butts. I maybe could have got famous off that in college, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just because of my last name.
Seymour.
I could hire an agent now. You can hire an agent.
Ah.
College players can hire agents.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
High school kids can hire agents now.
Hold up.
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
I didn't know that. But look, I think about it like this.
Touch on that. Is it your move or mine?
Yours.
Okay.
Oh man.
Touch that.
That's an interesting way to look at it, Trey. I ain't gonna lie, because if they're using your likeness though, if you playing at this big school and they got your jersey and it's selling off the shelf like a Joe Burrow or somebody, they getting paid off of you. They might be giving you this money for scholarships,
right?
Which is a good bit of money. So, but if you're making these jersey sales and we winning and we getting all the,
well, that's the thing.
All these incentives. I think there should be incentives for teams that win.
Here's how, and I
think that there are.
Here's the thing. It's going to come down to, you can do your own thing separate, but you can't be tied into the university. The university also can't, if they want to sell, where's Joe Burrow, 12?
9.
They can sell a number 9 LSU jersey.
Like Drew Brees.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? They could sell a number 9 LSU football jersey, but
Right.
they can't put Burrow on it.
Right.
If they put
But
Burrow,
it's still, but everybody know who it is.
if they put Burrow on it, now they got to pay him. You see what I'm saying?
But if I'm Joe Burrow and I wear number 9 and I look in the crowd and I see number 9 on a brand new jersey, let's come on now. We know what we're doing.
Okay. People wouldn't buy my jersey because I'm a superstar. They buy it because it says Butts on the back. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. Let's get a jersey that says Butts on it. This is a real dude. This will be funny to wear, and people will comment on my shirt. You know what I mean?
Like
you know what? I should get paid off of that, because
it's
otherwise
like
nobody's buying the
the
jersey.
shirts from that Notre Dame Miami game, the Convicts versus the something. I forgot what it's called, but yeah.
Okay.
That dude got paid buku money off of that. He made buku shirts, made a lot of money, but he wasn't a player.
He said, "What y'all supposed to do with $75?" I know, man. I was
$75?
playing football, golf, and baseball. So when I got the $75, I think the stipend was actually from golf.
Food.
So the 75 was like, "Hey, man," I was gonna tell my friends, like, "Hey, I got $75. You want me to go eat somewhere? Let's go eat. It's on me."
Right.
I would pay.
But I got 75 too, so we good.
Anyway,
that's look, we it's thing got late, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna check out.
We ran our course for now. We could say our goodbyes.
All right.
And we ain't finished the chess game.
Yeah, we'll finish
It's
it
your
up after.
move. Yep.
It's my move.
We gotta finish it up.
What if I told you that I set it up to kill you as we're wrapping up? Would you believe me?
Go for it. Show me.
I'm not there. I'm just saying, like, that would be cool if it was, though, right?
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think I'm gonna win though.
Okay.
So we gonna wrap up our first episode of our podcast. Thank everybody who showed up to listen to us talk for this long about all kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you like what we had to say, man, go share it.
Yeah, like, share, whatever. We gonna get it posted up on some more stuff. I know we kind of was all over the place a little bit,
That's okay.
but hopefully something was in there that you enjoyed talking about, and I'm really just thankful for the support that anybody would actually come through and listen to what me and Trey have to say. And you might not agree with everything that we have to say, and that is perfectly fine as well.
No, it's not, man.
Yeah, you have to listen to us and
You don't believe what I say, man.
Yeah,
I don't like you.
agree with me. Nah, but seriously though, like, that's what this is about. It's just starting more conversations about more things and hearing perspectives from different people. And you can see us, and we didn't agree on everything that we talked about, but we cool. And at the end of the day, like I keep saying, at the end of the day, it's a lot of end of days, because I'm tired, and it is the end of my day. And I'm gonna stop talking now because I got practice in the morning. Go Gators!
I'm about to drive back to Jackson right now.
You gotta be safe.
All right.
Make sure you turn your phone off. Do not disturb.
Yeah, I did that last time.
We're gonna be looking for you.
Get your wife.
Thank y'all. And cut.